Hi, and welcome to That Guy's a Maniac, the podcast. I'm your host, Richie.
And I'm your host, Kanzi11, aka Farley. Cue the music.
Well, Farley, another podcast, and this time we are talking about shops in games.
That's right, Richie. In our season of this week's episode is Shelved.
Named as such as an excuse to just talk about shops and games.
So about shops and games. But before all that,
we have our fun. It's not quite 20 questions. It's not quite animal, vegetable, mineral. It is character item level.
every time, I don't know whether it's just if you do it, but it sounds like you say animal, and then you say both mineral and mineral and vegetable and vegetable at the same time.
Animal, mineral, vegetable.
It's like animal, mineral, vegetable.
Animal, vegetable, mineral. Animal, mineral, vegetable.
It's like one of those auditory hallucinations. But you know when by thinking somebody said something, you can hear them say it?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I get that every week. I was like, oh, he's going to say vegetable, but then you say mineral.
Mineral. Animal, mineral,
Animal,
vegetable.
Mineral, vegetable. Mineral, vegetable.
Animal, mineral, vegetable. But yes, so in this game, I'm going to come up with one of those things, and you're going to try and guess it, Farley. You into that? You into that shit?
Let's do it.
Okay, cool. Hit me with your first question.
Is it a character item or level?
Yes, it is.
And which one is it?
It is a level.
A level. Those are difficult. Is it an outside level?
Yes.
Is it a snowy level?
No.
Is it a lava level?
No.
Is it an urban level?
Yes.
Okay. Is it a gritty level?
No.
Is it a clean level?
Ooh. Sometimes.
Sometimes. Are there NPCs on this level?
Yes.
Do you fight the NPCs on this level?
Oh, no.
Is it a level from a first-person shooter game?
No.
Is it a level from a platforming game?
Yes.
Is it from Streets of Rage?
No.
Is it from a Mario game?
Yes.
Oh.
Should have leaned into it.
Is it New Donk City?
No, it's not.
Okay, but it is urban.
I mean, it's hard to say it is, but it isn't. But I wouldn't say urban as in skyscrapers, put it that way.
Okay. Are there houses on this level?
Yes.
Is Mario's house on this level?
No.
Is Peach's house on this level?
No.
Do you go inside houses?
You can go inside houses, yeah.
Okay. Is it Delfino Plaza Land?
Yeah! Good stuff. Now the environment ones, the level ones are the hardest. But I decided just to go. Yeah, I like that one. Good stuff. Well done.
I think I think of them as the hardest, but actually, I think you can narrow them down much easier, right? Like if they're not.
I mean, you got Mario,
snow,
so you were yeah.
But if they're not snow or lava levels, that's 20% of all levels in games.
Yeah. But yeah, like the urban thing, I didn't want to throw you off too much with that one.
No, that's fine. That's,
yeah.
They're houses.
Yeah.
That's urban.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess also there are a lot of things in games which are could not be levels. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like in GTA 5, what's the level?
I know exactly. The San Andreas is the level.
It's the level. Yeah.
Vice City is the level. But yeah, like, and also, I mean, Delfino Plaza, you could argue is the hub, but there are lots of things to do that are exactly the same as what you do in all of the other levels. Air quotes.
Yeah. I think if are there lists in Sunshine? Do you know what? I haven't really played Sunshine. Of all them, Marios, the straight Marios. That's the one I've spent the least amount of time on.
Sunshine, I got the Mario pack. Sunshine, I think, is probably one of the better experiences I've had with Mario.
Yeah.
But it's really, really, really hard. It's like Rainbow Road difficulty straight off the bat and stays there.
See, many previous podcasts. Sunshine's very hard. Mario 64 has a bad camera.
So does Mario Sunshine. It's
I think the Galaxy. I think you was just too late to.
Yeah, I played Galaxy briefly as well, and I found myself spending too much time maintaining the camera. And you're just like, it's like Mario is a game of camera and views, and you don't want it to be. You want it to be like press left to run.
This is one of the rare instances where I will deploy the phrase skill issue.
Yeah, fine. Like, but there's also a level of. I just
level.
Get it? Go back. Anyway, let's not argue about how
there's
rubbish.
Also a level of finish the thought. There's also a level of.
Oh, it's like that whole thing of like you play a fighting game, but you never want to press block. But with Mario,
absolutely.
But you play Mario, I don't want to fuck about with the camera. I'm too busy trying to jump in a direction.
Exactly. If I have to do something fiddly, I don't want another thing to worry about. So I'm just gonna leave the camera as it is and make my life hard because there's one less thing to think about. Yeah.
Maybe I need that one less thing to think about.
Yeah, exactly. No, I hear you. Anyway, we're talking reshelved, Richie. And the topic is shops in games. What a thrilling topic! But the more actually, the more I thought about it, the more it's one of these aspects of video games where it's a staple, right? It's on the big list of things which video games have in them.
Yeah.
And on the surface, you think shops. That's relatively straightforward. But actually, video game shops are very odd. And the least, like, of course, we have shops in the real, barely. We have shops in the real world, either real ones or virtual ones.
You've got Amazon nowadays and vape shops.
But video game shops fundamentally don't really operate, or they vary, but we'll talk about that. They don't really operate like shops do.
They don't, and they've got massive variety. Yeah, exactly.
But also, weird. With the exception of Argos, which is hanging on in there. You don't really have many shops that you can just walk in and be like, hey, I know you sell candies or whatever, weapons. I'm going to sell 1,000 potions, 200 rusty swords, a nugget, a treasure chest, a gem, and some slime livers.
Slime livers, love it.
And the shopkeepers are like, "Yep, I'll buy all that."
Yep. I love how you said, with the exception of Argos. I have never known Argos to have a bartering system. Maybe I just missed out on that one.
No, I think but that is a shop where you go in and you say, "I would like I'd like a shower curtain and a train set."
Right, I get what you're meaning.
And a wine rack and
In my head, what I thought you were doing was going in with all of these items in exchange for, I don't know, a Hoover microwave.
I just looted some people on the street. I've got an anorak, a shoe,
some half-eaten candy floss.
yeah, 3 dead rat skins. Can I please get some tap fittings, please? When I say video games and shops, what immediately comes to your mind? What's the first thing you think of? What's the shop?
It's Animal Crossing.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
That is interesting.
because like the whole game is capitalism, and it's just about finding bugs and selling them, or fish, and then finding the most efficient bug to farm to get the money, and then pay off the mortgage. And I just think of that, and also the shops are a pain. And I don't want to get too early into the mechanics of game shops, but they change their inventory on a daily basis.
Oh yeah.
And then, but there's always like something that you need to complete as well. So you can get like 7 out of 8 bits of a fossil, or whatever, and then you'll just be like playing over and over, repeatedly going to the same shop in the hope that they have a fossil. When they don't, you go back to farming bugs.
I don't think they sell fossils in the shop.
That was okay. It was a bad example.
You can piece of furniture, or you could use crate. Did you ever go to Crazy Red?
Maybe. What was Crazy Red?
So Crazy Red would have like a little tent that he'd set up, and it was one of the few places you could get paintings.
Yes.
I can't remember what the percentage was. Frequently they'd be fake. So you'd be like, "Oh, I don't have that painting." You'd buy it and you take it to the museum, and then Blathers would be like, "Oh, this is disgusting. This is a fake," and then he'd destroy it.
Yeah, you just lose your money for it. But it's the gamble of trying to get the paintings. But yeah, sorry, like a bad example, but like the shops have things in them and they change, and you can get a different kind of roof or a different wallpaper, but you also get like matching sets of like furniture and wallpapers and things like that.
If you want your what is it? Happy Home? Who are the guys who review your home, like the Feng Shui?
Oh God, I probably shouldn't get into too much detail, since when was the last time you actually played Animal Crossing?
I think you've played a more recent Animal Crossing than me.
Wow, okay.
I think the last one I played was on the Wii.
Oh, you didn't have the DS one? Wide World or Wild World?
I had the original DS one.
Right.
I didn't have the 3DS one.
Yeah, the 3DS one is the one that I spent far too much time playing. It was my... it knocked me out to make me go to sleep. It's my Pavlovian thing. Uh-huh. So I'd run around, do the chores, and then just fall asleep as I was catching big bugs. Atlas bugs. Yeah.
When it was scorpion and spider season, that was... Well, tarantula season, that was the best. But
yeah.
Tricky to get them.
Anyway, so yes, when I think of shops, I think immediately Animal Crossing. How about you? What's the first thing you think of when you think shops?
Well, this is also a bit weird because I don't think it's a game you'd particularly associate with me, but it's Skyrim.
Yeah, it's a good call.
A game I famously played the first hour of 100 times.
You kill a chicken and then the game.
You kill a chicken, and then before you know it, a dog is chasing out of town, and then you can't sell anything or get any quests, and then you're just living like a hobo on the outskirts of the first village. Yes, because I used to, and I'm sure a lot of people would do it, pick up everything you've got until you're encumbered, and then slowly crawl back to town and sell plates and pewter thingies, and it just wasn't worth it, right? It was not
never
worth
ever
it
worth
at all.
it. Yeah,
just you could kill a bad guy and sell his iron sword for 3 times the amount you'd get for being over encumbered with bowls and plates and apples and whatnot.
but do you remember the system that they use in
Yeah,
Skyrim?
this is why I remember where they kind of have a fixed budget, right? So you can't just endlessly keep selling to them.
No, they have an amount of gold.
Yeah.
So either you need to be spending money with them, or you can only sell at a fixed amount. But you can also, you have a bartering system as well. So you can sort of switch a little bit of gauge and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to sell this for 90% or 110% of the price.
Yeah.
And see if he'll take it. So one of your skills is like speech and charisma, and that can kind of affect. In fact, is it not just barter, actually? I think it's just barter, and you've got that ability to sort of do that and successfully get those roles and things like that.
Yes, I think you do have to unlock it on the skill tree before it becomes available. And I always liked it when you could occasionally, not always, loot a shop whilst the shopkeeper's asleep or something.
Yeah.
And then sell everything back to them.
As long as it doesn't have a red thing beside it.
Yeah, or everyone in the town magically becomes aware of the fact that you accidentally picked up a carrot when you were trying to do something else.
Yep.
And you run out of town, living like a hobo.
I miss Skyrim. It was good.
I know. I every now and then I think, shall I buy Skyrim again on a modern system and then give it another go. I didn't get very far. I think I killed 3 dragons. That's the furthest I ever got.
That's pretty good.
Okay.
But what kind of character were you aiming for in Skyrim?
I think I was trying to get as close to one of my first D&D character, which was a cleric, which is bad to do.
Yeah.
Because you're kind of a healer and there's not really much point.
No, just heal yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but then, it's stupid because you just do more attacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was fun.
I was always stealthy, sneaky bow man. I found a lot of enjoyment from abusing the game's AI, so being completely hidden and then just shooting someone as they're in mid-conversation with someone. And then they just turn around and go, oh, must have been the wind, as they step over the corpse of the person they were just speaking to. Love it. It was like just never got old.
What's your favourite video game shop?
So thinking about this, and this is one that I have mentioned before on the podcast, and it would be Chocobocolina.
Chocobocolina. Yeah, it's not Chocobocolina's first appearance on TGM the podcast.
No, it's not. But basically, she's in Final Fantasy 13-2, and she's mental. She's just like Chocobocolina. She like introduces herself. She's very, very enthusiastic about it. But she follows you through time. So you're going back to like the distant past and the present, or 10 years in the future, or 100,000 years in the future. And yet she just hangs out. She's like, yeah, I'm here. What do you need to buy? What do you need to trade? Like, you're mental. Like, what is your timeline? Like, how did you even get here? And why do you know me? And why are you talking to me in a linear fashion? And like it never gets explained either. It's just cool that you have this character that kind of follows you along, knows and is helping actually defeat the world's big boss character.
Now,
Yeah.
did you want to know some fun facts about Chocobocolina?
Go ahead. Yeah.
First one is she's not called Chocobocolina.
Okay, what's she called?
Well, in Final Fantasy 13, nothing.
Okay.
She's referred to as Chocobo Chick or Chocobo by Saz.
Okay.
And then her actual name is Chocolina.
It's Chocolina. Yeah. It's because yeah. Yep. But it's more fun to call her Chocobocolina.
Chocobocolina is a better name.
Yeah.
I also say she's not wearing very much in this photo on
Yeah, she's wearing feathers.
Final Fantasy Wiki.
Yeah.
I mean, she's wearing some feathers, but also not many.
But yeah, she just turns up. She's nuts.
I like mysterious shopkeepers.
Yeah.
There's both the merchant in Resident Evil 4, but also
Yes, exactly the same. That's a very, very good analogy. Why does he know? Why does he not care? You know, like what is he?
I've just fought a fish, ridden on a minecart, and fallen out of a helicopter to get here. Like, how have you got here?
And then you can walk back, and he'll still be in the other place as well. And you're like,
There's a similar character in Resident Evil Village. He's this giant. I think he's called Duke or the Duke. He's this giant fat guy, but he's in like an old travelers caravan. You know, think of like a Disney.
Yeah.
And he's very odd. He's an ally, but odd, and you can like sell strange things to him and buy even stranger things from him.
Brilliant.
But yeah,
I love that.
He just zips around, you know.
Teleports from place to place. But yeah,
mystery merchant. And I obviously understand why, right?
Yeah, because it'd be horrible if he didn't.
Yeah, you need a shop, right? Or the shop indicates, okay, right, we're between bits now. I should probably level up and load up and stock up, and then off we go.
Otherwise, you have like the merchant, beside you, fighting swathes of zombies. Pulling out like rocket launchers and every other arsenal that he has.
Yeah.
Getting to the next place so that he can sell you all these things.
That was maybe instead of. So you got Resident Evil 4, then you got Separate Ways, and then I'd love for the merchant DLC where you see.
Oh, that would be amazing! Yeah, play as the merchant, amazing.
Yeah, and his story kind of splits between whenever you bump into Leon. That'd be great.
Brilliant.
There we go. Free idea, Capcom, for the next time you release for Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah. But yeah, so we touched on the merchant as well there. So, what was your question? What was your initial question?
What's your favourite shop?
Favorite shop? What's your favourite shop?
My favourite shop in video games, is a character. Actually, she's more than a shop, but also is just a shop, and it's Anna from Fire Emblem.
Okay.
So in recent Fire Emblems, and I'm not too sure how far back it goes, she is kind of like Fire Emblem's, Moogle's Chocobo and a character called Sid.
Okay.
So certainly in the recent mainline Fire Emblem games, she's a character. And I think she's one of the main 3 characters in the gacha game. But her whole character is just obsessed with making money.
Ah.
So she's always looking to make money and to sell things. And so she is the shop, My favorite iteration of her is in Fire Emblem Warriors, where she sells you essentially on each of the kind of levels. You have a picture to fill in, like with
Yeah.
bits which are squared out, a bit like the catchphrase. And if you meet Anna's requirements, she'll set up a pop-up shop. So it'll be like kill 5,000 enemies. So you'll be wading through 5,000 enemies, and if you've never played a Muzu game, you've got your map. There's like 100 things going on. You've got a mission, and then there's 10 submissions, and there's 3 guys who are, if they get to a certain base or you don't intercept them, then
You're
something else
randomly
really bad
completing missions,
Yeah,
even though you don't know what you've done.
It's like to look at the map, it's insane. Where there's arrows and green dots and red dots. Anyway, so once you kill the 5,000 or 2,000, how many people you have to kill, it'll say Anna's set up a shop. So mid like melee, right, where you're just wading through all these guys, and there's catapults and there's dragons and you're like, okay, where the fuck is Anna? And then you have to like hightail it, and often she's in the most inconvenient place, like either the furthest possible way, or she's right in the heart of like enemy territory, and she's surrounded by boss characters. So that was always fun. Like, oh, okay, Anna's popped up. Can I continue doing the mission and get to her and have enough money, which is very easy later on, to buy this puzzle piece for a bit of a completionist. So yeah. I'd say Anna from Fire Emblem is my favourite shop. It's just for that, middle of a literal war zone.
So, fun fact.
She puts her carpet on the floor and...
So, fun fact, Anna is a recurring character.
Yeah.
But rather than being a single character, she is one of many sisters. Identical sisters.
That's great. Like Nest Joy.
Exactly, or Officer Jenny. They're just
Jenny.
all identical sisters.
That's great. Yeah, she's fun. My other favourite shop is in Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. There's a Kecleon. I don't think I've ever had to say that word out loud. Kecleon runs a travelling shop. But they will appear in Mystery Dungeons. There's lots of guys who run like the Kangaskhan runs the item shop, the storage shop, which is quite cool. Persian runs the bank. They're all cool.
Yeah,
these characters, they fit with their shops. Anyway, so Kecleon runs the item shop, and then a shiny Kecleon runs the slightly better item shop. But as you are going through Mystery Dungeons, there's a chance that you'll come across a Kecleon, and so. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon is one of those procedurally, generated roguelikes. But if you pick up an item, so you have like a carpet laid out, and sometimes the carpet is massive. Like if it's in a huge room, the carpet will be massive. And if you pick up an item and then go to step off the carpet, you have the option to pay him or not. And if you don't pay him, he fucks you up. Properly fucks you up. But there are some instances where the exit to the next floor will be so close, you'll be like, I think I can make it. Like, I'll probably lose half my team, but I think I can get there before he utterly obliterates me. And that's always a fun little risky game we like to play. But yeah, there we go. Both of mine are kind of nomadic, with a carpet that they lay out and put stuff on.
Okay. Yeah, I can't think of any other favourite shops that I may or may not have. Like, there's shops that I obviously remember a lot. Like,
there's shops in WoW.
Yeah, absolute tons of shops. They're not a lot of use, I'll be honest with you. So the shops will sell things like maybe a couple of quest items, like go get a bottle of wine from here, and then you'll do that. But mostly, like, the shops just sell white gear, which nobody in their right mind would use ever. because you can just find better gear or get better gear from shops. But what else? Mainly the shops, the things you care about in the cities that are shops are going to be professions, or trainers. You don't really care about actual physical items. You care more about things like spending it on being better at engineering or getting a new class skill or whatever. Did I bore you to death?
No. It's fine. Did you have any, like, were you loyal to any shops in particular?
Whatever one is closest to.
Okay.
So it's like, so if you're in the town, you're going to be using like the auction house. Well, I suppose that's a kind of shop, actually.
Interesting. What do you think, readers? Drop a comment on whatever platform you're hearing this. Are auction houses shops?
I mean, are they? So the auction house is like where prices are set by other players.
Yeah.
Which you mainly use, like, I would definitely use it above any kind of shop. And I will use whatever person is nearby to automatically sell all my inventory. Like, I downloaded mods just to sell stuff that I don't need. It's grey, gone. Just give me the gold. Yeah. But yeah, no, I don't think there's shops of a traditional sense.
Sad.
Well, there are, but you just wouldn't use them.
Yeah. There's no one, with enough charisma or character. Like, that's my favourite shop guy. I'm always going to make sure I sell to.
No, in all honesty, you choose the person you want to sell your shit to, and it's usually the same person that will repair everything on. So you just like, right, this is the blacksmithy's mate, so I'm going to go up to him and repair all my stuff and sell all my shit to him. Move on blindly, not even thinking or taking any time to remember your name.
Harsh.
Yeah.
Now there's another shop we've not mentioned, which we probably should.
What shop?
Gun Shop Kendo.
Gun Shop Kendo. I have a feeling they don't have much for sale.
Not anymore. What about? No. Yeah, it's pretty emptied out in both versions of Resident Evil 2.
Yeah, he just has stuff that you can loot and you can watch him die.
Yeah. Although what's the name of the? God, what's the name of the Resident Evil 2 remake mode where it's like alternative stories?
Oh God, I know what you're talking about. Where like you play as the kid running from the orphanage and stuff like that.
No, I think you play that and you play as the taxidermy girl.
Yes, the taxidermy girl.
And you can play as Kendo as well. So what if he doesn't commit suicide and escape the city?
Ah, cool.
Yeah.
I didn't like them. They were really hard.
They were really hard. Yeah. I maybe did one once. On training mode.
Yeah. 1 out of 5 starred it, and then
yeah, exactly. Didn't even pop a Chivo for it. There we go. But sadly, neither Kendo or the gun shop exist anymore after being nuked into existence. But didn't like every box of bullets you pick up have the Kendo branding, which I find astonishing.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like those brothers were like the premier gun shop. Yeah.
A monopoly on Raccoon City.
And the surrounding areas, like the gas station and stuff like that as well.
Because everybody in Raccoon City, including, Umbrella, because when you're down in the hive, you're still picking up Kendo branding.
Absolutely, but yeah, But were they not very good because people just drop them everywhere? They're just like in a drawer or on the ground, twinkling from somebody's corpse, you know.
I'm just trying to think if I remembered that correctly or not, and it's very hard trying to look up the Resident Evil 2 ammo boxes. Resident Evil 2 ammo. Maybe I just remembered ammo box. I'm pretty sure they were Kendo branded.
I feel like they were Kendo branded as well. I mean, this is great quality.
Called, the bullets are called Tony's Arms.
Oh.
Bollocks.
That's a bit disappointing.
Well, it makes more sense though.
It does, yeah. So the Kendo monopoly is indeed
Just him and his brother.
Yeah.
Not only making the boxes, but manufacturing the ammo.
But then we can look forward to the Tony's Arm expansion as well.
Yes, we play an ammunition box factory.
I mean, that sounds like it'd be a good game.
Well, speaking of which, actually, there are a couple of games which allow you to work in a shop.
Yeah, so this is part of... Yeah, I had a little look into that. I had a deep dive into it. And I was just looking into like some of the original games that do it, and there's just a swathe of indie games that do this exact same thing. But yeah, no, you go ahead. What games did you want to chat?
So because we always have to mention, what was the name of that project? The Level 5 thing where they had all the mini games. It's Friday Night Monsters, the one with the RPG dice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
know. Whatever that project was called. One of them was called Weapon Shop Amasi, where you work in a weapon shop and you manufacture weapons. So you do like all the smelting?
Yeah, sure.
The blacksmithery.
Smelting and smithing.
Smithing, working the metal and then tempering it, and then you make these weapons and you'd interact with a cast of traveling heroes. Right? So you play as the blacksmith's apprentice, and then there were various tropes of hero who would come and ask for a certain kind of weapon or buy a certain kind of weapon off you. And then whilst you're making other weapons, there's kind of like a sort of like a chat log system where you get reports of how all these heroes are doing and how many dungeons they're fighting and how far they get before they have to kind of come back.
I love that. I love this whole weird sort of like dungeon thing. It's like it just becomes a trope in anime as well. It's like, oh yeah, we're just dungeoning, and you accept it as a thing that like.
Yeah, did we talk about this on the podcast? I can't remember if we did. Dungeons are much like shops in video games in that they're not really a thing in the real world, right? There are some castles which have dungeons, but when you go there, it's like, oh, there's just like a little bit that's underground.
Yeah,
it's certainly not 70 floors of a labyrinth, and definitely not anything that could have a monster in it.
Yeah,
but then it just became a trope through fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
and now
it's just like a standard
own genre in anime, right? Is dungeoning.
Yeah, but it's also not even like a main thing. Like watching Freerun, it's just like, oh yeah, that's a thing that just happens. Yeah, we're going on an adventure. We're doing dungeons, and like,
yeah.
Wait a minute. I feel like we need to pause and expand on what the hell this world is that you live in. But like, no, it's just like, no, it's a thing. And we're going to the shop and we're going to the inn and we're going to use the gold that we've done from selling. It's like, it has become a computer game world, and yet it's telling that story within it, but it's in a fantasy setting instead.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But you just because it's such a trope, and also because you kind of know what they're talking about, right? If you've played
yes,
an MMO or whatever,
any kind of
you
RPG,
just accept it. Yeah, you
Yeah.
just accept. Oh yeah, there are dungeons, and people go in these dungeons. Sometimes it's a city that has a dungeon. Yeah, and they have different levels, and then every kind of variant you can think of, right? So there's animes where somebody's reincarnated as an enemy in a dungeon and then makes his own boss. There's Sword Art Online. There's the
Delicious in Dungeon.
Delicious in Dungeon. There's I was resurrected in a dungeon. There was picking up girls in a dungeon. It's just yeah, a whole thing.
Yeah, and
And what's really weird to me is, although obviously in anime you associate that with Japan because many of them are Japanese, but they're all set in like a kind of
Germany or Germany. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, so that's the thing. Is like Frieren and Himmel and all this sort of stuff. It's actually Old Norse that they're using for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But all the city names will have your fantasy German names, and it's so weird. But it's so prevalent that you don't really think twice about it, right?
Yeah, I know. It's like, but it does become jarring. It's just like something will come out as like Loki-san. It's just like, oh, what the hell? Like what? It's just like weird that it's like Japanese, but then it's like hyper European, like but it's not even. It's a fantasy world, and mental.
And who's building all these dungeons at vast expense?
Yeah, and why are like only evil monsters able to thrive in those dungeons?
Yeah, but then also in the current dungeon genre, it's even like every 3 days all the monsters respawn. Oh, okay. So are we in a video game type anime?
Yeah,
no.
It does feel like it's a video game that's not self-aware.
Yeah, maybe there are definitely ones where they are stuck in a video game, or it's all about making relationships in video games. But then there are others where they do not play it as this is a video. It's not like the character wakes up at the end or has been playing a game.
Yeah, and in fact, there's a brief moment in Frieren, and it's such a throwaway line. It's just like, oh yeah, well we'll just respawn. Like, wait, what? Let's tease that thread for a little while, shall we?
Yeah, it's weird, but then it's so I don't know. It's so strange because we've talked about it before. Video games, anime, all of these things are quite niche, but then evidence tells us, from how many people engage with these things, that they're not particularly niche.
Yeah, no, it's definitely slipped into the social consciousness way more.
But surely there's one part of the Venn diagram of people who like anime and they're like, hang on, what is a dungeon? Why are they in a dungeon? What's this about respawning?
Yeah.
I mean, I think most people know enough to kind of get the general references, but when it's just baked into the origins of here's the world that we're in. Yeah, I do. It is weird to, does everybody know about dungeons and video games and respawning? And
are these just characters that are being played in the real world in some kind of MMO?
Bosses or levels?
Yeah.
Anyway, yes. So that's Weapon Shop Amasi, and it's a very small game, right? Small in the amount of time it takes, but also small in that it all crams onto the DS. But it's utterly charming.
Yeah, all of those project thingy, whatever it is.
Yeah. And essentially all you're watching is like a screed of text and occasionally talking to a character, and the rest of the time you are just making weapons. But you do get invested in, helping them all to reach their goal by whatever. defeating whatever dungeon, and there's like a really camp guy, and there's a really clumsy guy, and there's like a really dark guy who's perhaps not very dark. And then in wonderful, the other Project Rainfall, title called The Last Story, which on the Wii and desperately needs to have a remake, I think, because a lot of people missed it. 'Cause it's late days in the Wii, quite expensive, beautiful game. But one of the tasks you can kind of do on downtime or between missions is just work in the market.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and you just sell stuff to people.
Should we talk about, on that note?
Yeah.
No, actually that doesn't work. I wonder if, I'm just thinking about the guy from Oblivion who played as an NPC. But then I realized, of course, that's a one-player game. There's nobody gonna come. But like, I know that there's communities that do that sort of thing, and where somebody has specialized in, like, I don't know, growing mushrooms, will sell mushrooms and become that sort of person.
Yeah.
They actually, and just to sort of slip into this for a second, there is a thing for that in Minecraft, because there's an awful lot of people who play it online, and people who get licenses on certain servers to sell only one thing.
Really? So,
yeah.
Hang on. A license is something that you earn, or do you pay for?
Nope. This is somebody just has said, okay, yeah. So if anybody's going to buy, I don't know, an item, carrots, you have to go and buy it from Mr. Carrot Man, who makes all the carrots. He spends all of his days doing carrots and making the best carrots, so you have to buy carrots from him.
And is it a real person?
Yeah.
And they just spend their entire time...
Yeah, dealing with carrots. They might do other things, but they are the person that you go to for the carrots.
Okay. But can they run out if they don't grow them?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I think you would make an obscene amount of carrots. The Minecraft is insane. Like, you couldn't run out.
Okay. So does this person doesn't make any real money in the real world, right?
No.
But they make a lot of... What is the currency in Minecraft?
There isn't a currency. It would be trading. It's entirely trading.
God, this job sounds worse.
I mean, you can use diamonds as currency.
Okay. So if you hopped on right now and you wanted to buy some carrots, how would you do
that? Well, it depends what you're doing. These are like self-made servers. So somebody is hosting this, and you would have to join the community. But if you join the community, it depends. Like, there's so many rules around it. It's very, very what's the word I'm looking for? It's all user driven for themselves, and it's an enclosed community. Let's say it's, I don't know, 80 people who are playing, and they'll be chatting. Somebody will be, making certain things, but like, most people are not necessarily joining these communities or joining that server.
Okay. So it's kind of like a roleplay server.
Yeah, it's role-playing Minecraft, whereas it is just a single-player game where you just, like, you can build things with Lego,
I love it, and I do. I love the kind of things that people do, and you mentioned earlier with the indie games, and I've had good times with a couple of these games we play as a shop. It's fascinating, particularly with again, another piece of gaming lingo that's really crossed over into the real world is this idea of NPCs, right? So both as a pejorative and main, like things like main character syndrome. But that some people would choose to spend their virtual time essentially role playing as an NPC.
Yeah.
So what is going on there psychologically? I don't know, but I do. It reminds me of the what was the name of that? Webcomic? Living in Oblivion. Do you remember that comic?
Yeah.
About the guy who was playing Oblivion and was like, I don't want. He made a character who avoids all conflict, specializes in, alchemy and herbalism, and just trying to make a decent wage and not attract any trouble.
Yep.
And then, just a trip from one town to another becomes ridiculously perilous because there's bandits and stuff like that. It feels like a space that until recently hasn't really been explored. But then, as you mentioned, there are a slew of indie games where you end up working in a shop, sometimes in a fun way. So I've been playing, I can't remember the fucking name. It's either Diver Dan or Diver Dave.
Dave the Diver.
Dave the Diver, Diver Dan, Dave the Diver. Oh, there is a Diver Dan, but that's a TV series. Is it Dave the Diver?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dave the Diver. Where half that video game, essentially, you're working in a shop, right? You're running your sushi joint.
Yep.
Which is quite cool. And then I guess there's always been your Burger Time type games where mechanically you're doing something else, but actually you're working in a shop. And I guess that includes Overcooked, right?
Yeah. Overcooked is the
chaotic multiplayer.
Oh God. Yeah.
Make the burgers, serve the burgers, even though you're in a floating kitchen in a volcano where occasionally it will just split apart.
Yeah. So one of the things that when I was looking into this, what seems to be kind of credited as one of the first games like this is a game called Recettear, an item shop's tale. So it's RECETTEAR, Recettear, and it's basically it is a role playing game.
An item shop's tale, yeah, okay.
And her name is Reset. Maybe she's related to Rossetti.
Mr. Rossetti. The circle is complete. We have to end the podcast here. We started with Animal Crossing. We finished with Animal Crossing.
No. We're not done yet. But so that's credited as like one of the first of these games. I also spotted, and when we were talking about prep for this podcast, last year there was a slew. That's the second time I've used the word slew today.
Yeah.
Of tavern simulators.
Okay.
Which was just mental, and there's 3 or 4 just came out at the same time, and basically it is a situation where you've got oldie worldy looking taverns, and you have to just have beer prices, food prices, entertainment, and all that sort of stuff, and you're running a tavern. The thing that gets me is I was looking at some of these ones, and they're just it comes under cozy, casual, and then when you read what you have to do in the game, you're just fuck this. That does not sound fun. It's you've got to be running about, making sure that something's being fed. You've got to get somebody paid. You've got to talk to troublesome people, and you're running around basically like blue arse fly. And I like this. I like the idea of a tavern simulator being really, really slow, but
you're in the middle of nowhere. You're on middle of nowhere. You have one local who comes in every day, and then occasionally interesting characters swap by, but it's certainly not. Okay, I get up at 6:00 and I mop the floors and whatever, do the thing and do the thing and do the thing. Yeah, that sounds quite stressful.
Yeah, very stressful.
It's reminding me of another game. Did we play this together?
You have to say more words.
Where you were walking through a pub over and over and over again. and things are changing.
Oh,
The whole thing's set in a pub. Is it Nine Bells? Is it called Nine Bells or something?
it's ringing a bell.
Hey. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Um,
It's called something. It's a horror game set in a pub. Oh god, this is. I can't remember. I can't think if I dreamt this or we probably didn't play it together.
definitely not.
Maybe I watched a stream and internalized it. I was playing it. What's the fucking name of this game? Hey,
10 bells.
it could be because the aim of the game is to essentially find the thing that's weird or creepy, and then
You literally AI's telling me a horror game set in a pub is called 10 bells. First-person, anomaly-based horror game
yes,
where you explore a mysterious English pub, searching
Yeah.
for subtle changes in the environment to uncover dark secrets.
yeah,
This sounds amazing.
play it. It's good. Play it. Look it up.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not long.
it looks very scary though.
Don't look at anything. Just buy it and play it. Play it with your other half, and I'm you have a very nice evening because it is kind of a bit puzzly.
Okay.
And it's that kind of
£4.29.
is that too much? Is that
No, that's epic. Yeah.
okay? Good. But it's that perfect brand of genre of horror. Like domestic horror, Resident Evil, should we say? Domestic. So, if this was set in a haunted house, it wouldn't hit half as hard as being set in a typical English pub.
Brilliant. Yeah, fantastic.
There's another game. We're not really talking about shops now, but
No.
it's a game where you kind of just have to do your job, kind of like a shop, I think. I think it's called Mortuary Assistant.
Okay. Right.
And it's horrifying because you have to go about your job, prepping cadavers.
Yeah.
But you're not really alone in the mortuary, but it's very, very subtle. It's corner of the eye type thing. As you're walking around, with a cadaver laid on the table and you're getting chemical A and chemical B. Is that? Yeah.
This is gold. I love these kind of horror games.
Yeah, well, give that one a spin as well. It's fucking horrible.
You should save this for the Halloween podcast.
No, I'm blowing it all in January on a January episode about shops.
Yeah, brilliant. Fantastic.
All the hot horror tips are coming out.
Yeah. Save the really, really low energy, spooky for Halloween. Whereas
That's like
January,
Halloween.
it's all about the
And-
best horror
And we'll
games.
probably be talking about, what's your favourite item with a smiley face on it in the background of a Mario game? Mine's the cloud.
Mine's the hill.
Yeah, I know the hill. The one that is just like a diglet.
Yeah.
That's a good one, buddy. That's a good one.
I think now's time to end it. Mario, we come back full circle.
I go with some honorary shout outs.
Yeah,
Can I
go.
do those?
Yeah.
There's the Pokemart, and obviously we could discuss.
Sorry, I did have another thing that irks me in video games.
Yeah.
Shop prices that level up as you level up.
No, I also had a similar note. Either the prices level up when you level up, or the stock expands as you level up. It's like, what's happening here? I beat whatever Faulkner.
Yeah.
And he's writing a letter to the Pokemon head, corporation.
And now I
saying,
can get Ultra Balls. Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Say, hey guys, you can now sell this. You can now sell whatever. dangerous items to this 8-year-old because he beat me in a gym battle.
But it's like also like there's items that don't have limited stock, but if you buy one, like right, that's 5 gold, so it's now going up to 7 gold, and you're like so it just adds this extra level of you've got the gold, you don't want to spend it because you don't want to make everything too expensive. And anyway, sorry, honorary shout outs.
Honorary shout outs was the Pokemon and whether they regret merging with the Pokemon Center or not. I don't know. You know, 'cause they kind of had their own thing.
They did,
Pokemon Centers, God knows what their business model is, but it's free. And then they merged, but they still charge. One game where actually the shop really is like a character, but not a character, and that's the Willamette Mall in Dead Rising.
Oh yeah, of course, one big shop.
One big shop. You know, all the symbolism with our capitalist way of living, and the kind of poignant artistry of being in this place, which before the zombie virus would have been full of all these things which are desirable, right? To spend a whole day in the mall, and then in this desperate state, each of them becomes, a frantic, what do you call it? Improvised weapon, right?
Yeah.
You're just running around, you're picking up a TV, you're using your golf club, and then all of a sudden all of these commodities take on a different light because they have different values in terms of, how you can survive using them than they did before.
Shout out to Jill's sandwiches as well.
Shout out to Jill's sandwiches. And the frying, for me, because you build up your familiarity and it's an old game, so certain items would kind of respawn in certain areas, and the frying pan became, had a good durability, easy to find. It kind of became my go-to for a long time. As much as chainsaws and katanas and all that business are better, the frying pan's more reliable.
Yeah,
you did find one. And then similar to your Animal Crossing shout out, a shout out to the bonkers shops in Tomodachi Life.
Oh yeah.
Today we're selling, I don't know, a fossil and a melon. And okay.
Yeah, no, Tomodachi is nuts. I miss how irreverent that was and how rubbish the mobile game was for that.
Oh God, yeah. What was it called? It was called
Tomodachi. Oh God, My Tomodachi.
Miitopia?
No, Miitopia was the fantasy RPG with all the tropes.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. There was a Tomodachi on mobile, but should have been amazing. It wasn't. Right.
Was it actually called Tomodachi? Or was it the one where? Fuck me, what was it called? I remember it was like an app, right? And you could share your Miis, both frantically. Like Nintendo would occasionally. Miitomo,
yeah.
There we go. That's lost media for you. Well, if you didn't play Miitomo between 2016 and 2018, well, tough.
Yeah, tough. Right. Listen, let's just end this. End it.
Okay.
We had a good run. That guy's a maniac.
What are you buying?
Good one.